Hello and welcome to live coverage of Antonio Conte, 48, versus Jose Mourinho, 54. You might have heard that these two don't like each other very much, and, after the Mourinho digs and subtle hair-related references, it's all set up for them to take their touchline feud to a new level at Stamford Bridge this afternoon. That, after all, is what we're here for, right? The chance to see two grown men squaring up to each other, only for the fourth official to tell them it ain't worth it, is the stuff of dreams. It's what you want to see when Chelsea and Manchester United lock horns. Forget about the football, we're all here for the mind games. Of course, the focus on the sour relationship between Conte and Mourinho is to be expected. Firstly, and most obviously, because it turns out that Mourinho used to sit in Conte's seat, but also because of the strong possibility that the bitter air in the dugouts may well be more interesting than anything happening on the pitch. This is a fine opportunity for United to earn their first win at the Bridge since a controversial 3-2 victory in October 2012. Chelsea are feeling sore after their midweek collapse in Rome. The pressure on Conte is growing. Roman Abramovich is snooping around the training ground and the champions are defending poorly, conceding 10 goals in their last 6 games. United, meanwhile, are strong at the back and have enviable options in attack. Given that Roma scored 3 at Stamford Bridge and Watford scored 2, this assignment ought to have no fears for United. But we all know how Mourinho likes to set up in these big games, especially on the road. Now, when the defensive approach comes off, as it did against Tottenham last week, Mourinho looks like the genius that he unmistakably is. It's worth pointing out that there's absolutely nothing wrong with focusing on solidity, especially in an age when good defending seems like a minor priority for a lot of teams. At the same time, however, the limitations of Mourinho's restrictive mindset were sorely evident in that goalless draw at Anfield last month, when United's decision to wait for Liverpool's mistakes meant that they didn't do enough to test a defence that conceded 5 against Manchester City, 4 against Tottenham and 1 against West Ham. A point at Anfield is nothing to be sniffy about, of course, and some of the analysis of United's recent games has left Mourinho seething, mocking the specialists and the poets and the dreamers, even picking fights with his own fans. It's so unfair. The problem, though, is that a point isn't necessarily enough when City are setting such a terrifying pace at the top, while Mourinho's cause is hardly helped by his recent record away to his rivals: 2-0 at Liverpool, 1 at City, a 21 defeat at Spurs, a 20 defeat at Arsenal, and, most galling of all, a 40 defeat at Chelsea last year. How Mourinho would love to gain revenge for that humbling by his old side, who also knocked United out of the FA Cup last season. But the memory of that game might inform his plan here, while it might also provide Chelsea with some encouragement, and remind them that they are actually pretty good at football. Chelsea, remember, were last season's runaway champions. As usual, their title defense has been pretty underwhelming so far. They've been derailed by injuries, suspensions and a disappointing transfer window, and there's a growing sense that Conte isn't long for this job. This, however, is a chance for them to regain their mojo, for Eden Hazard to rediscover that glorious strut, for Alvaro Morata to find his shooting boots. Forget about Rome. Chelsea are bound to be up for this one, against the manager who had to be fired because of something called palpable discord. That's one way of setting this up. Another is that the delight Mourinho would take in showing Conte, Abramovich and everyone else inside Stamford Bridge just how special he still is. Kickoff 4:30 p.m. Updated at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.